uniting the races with truth instead of, I don't hear through my headset. Let's see. Uniting, I can hear now. Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Good morning. Welcome to the show. We had a little glitch here, late starting. That's why we're late starting, but we're here. You can get involved by calling 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. Jesse. Jesse. My biblical question, and it's a doozy, the biblical question: what is the boomerang in your life? What? You can't find it? What is the boomerang in your life? What is it? Have you ever thought about that? What is the boomerang in your life? We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on jesseleepeterson.com/show. jesseleepeterson.com/show. All right? And if you're out and about, no matter what you're doing, you're out and about, and you're too busy to just sit and watch the show for now, of course, you can podcast it later, anywhere in the world. But you could be watching while you're doing what you're doing. If you call the listen line on TalkStream Live on your iPhone or iPad at 641-793-1500. 641-793-1500. And Manhood Hour is coming up in the third hour today. Manhood Hour in the third hour today. All right? And to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to buymeacoffee.com, buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk, buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk, and rebuildingtheman.com, and Bond JLP on Cash App. Bond JLP on Cash App. All right? Yeah, because they don't like us on YouTube right now. So, what the? But anyway, I was, I'm paying attention to these wars that are happening right now, not only in Russia and Ukraine, but between Palestine and Israel. And it's very interesting to me because it reminds me of when I first started out some 30 years ago. We used to hold a bunch of rallies in California, Washington, D.C., and other parts of the country. And our rallies would be about the immigration issue at the time. Some of them were about the immigration because in California, years ago, we saw a bunch of illegal aliens coming into our country. And we would rally about that. And then there was a movement for English only speaking. English is the official language of the United States. And there were rallies about those kinds of things as well. And we would hold big rallies in Washington, D.C. and California and other places. And when we would hold those rallies, the people who were against us would show up, and they would protest against us and yell, and sometimes there were fights breaking out about the illegal alien situation. We were trying to get the government at the time And this was over 30 years ago. You know what I mean? So we were trying to get the government at the time to shut down the borders, no amnesty, and all kind of stuff. And also we used to hold rallies at time about the abortion issue, because once I started my nonprofit Bond, I started getting calls from women, especially the black community, that were trying to stop abortion, because a lot of black girls were having abortions at that time. And I didn't know, before that, I wasn't paying attention to abortion. I didn't know a lot about abortion at all. It just wasn't one of the things that I was thinking about. But I would hear these stories about these women, young girls, that would have these abortions, and that 70%, I believe, I could be off with the numbers right now because it's been a while, but 70% of Planned Parenthood abortion mills were set up in the inner cities, and that they were making buku money off black girls having abortion. And so I started to look into that to see if it's true, and it was true, and it still is, as far as I know. Black on Saturdays, especially Saturday, but not only Saturday, there would be long lines of black girls, and in some case, they would have the father of the child, potential child, with the mother having abortion. And so I started to ask around about it, and I realized it was all about money. Margaret Sanger started this thing to wipe out the underclass, which was at the time in her mind was the blacks in the South, because the blacks in the South was having buku children, a lot of babies. I came from a big family like that as well. And so I started talking to young black girls about abortion, and I found out that in some cases, by the time they were 20 years old, they had 4 and 5 abortions already. And so we started to hold rallies in front of the abortion mill. And at the time, my intent was to inform the black people about the seriousness of abortion, and that there was a genocide put upon blacks by way of abortion. And so we protest up in Oakland and places like that. And in some cases, the Planned Parenthood abortion mill was sitting between 2 churches. And so we tried to get the churches to come out and protest with us, but they wouldn't do it. The preachers said, no, we're not doing that. They were for abortion. They were okay with it. They said that we don't have a right to tell a woman what to do with her body. And these were black churches too, and they wouldn't do it. And so I remember one Saturday I was out in front of an abortion mill, and there was a young girl going in there to have an abortion. And she was like, and again, I don't remember exactly the age because time had gone by, but she was between 13 and 15. And so I said to her, you don't have to have an abortion. You can have the baby, and we would take the baby and adopt it. We'd take care of it. We'd find someone to help you. And she said it was too late because she had gone in like on a Thursday to the abortion mill, and they had injected some saline into her womb, and they told her that she wasn't going to feel anything. It's not a baby. That it wasn't a big deal. And she said for 3 days, and this girl between 13 and 15, somewhere in there, and she said in 3 days, the baby was kicking and, acting out in her womb, and it tripped her out. It traumatized her. And so that saline solution, I guess, had killed the baby or burned it or something. And so she had to have the abortion because the saline solution had already been injected in her womb. And I'm like, wow, that was so interesting to me. Because, again, I didn't know a lot about how abortion works. And then, over the years, so we've been having rallies off and on about different things. And I've noticed when I reflect now that at every rally that we held, for the most part, maybe there was an exception rule, I don't remember. But for the most part, the other side, the opposing side, will always show up. And there will be fights between the two teams. And so years went by. Eventually, I don't know if I got too old to do them or just lost interest in protesting or what happened, but it just kind of dwindled away. And what I've come to realize, a couple of things. Number one, some of the people who participated in those rallies were from different organizations that were agreeing with us about the abortion, about immigration, and all that, have since expired. They have died. And then everybody just kind of faded away eventually to their own corners. But what I realized from it, nothing good came from it, from the fighting and the protesting. And I testified at the state capitol and things like that, right? But nothing came from it. I remember when they started this whole no bail bond thing, I went up there to testify in the Capitol there. We held rallies up there, me and the dog and his team and the bounty hunter, and nothing, it still happened anyway. So my point is that what I've come to realize is that a couple of things, and then I get to this war thing that's happening, but a couple of things that I realize is that it's like we're being brainwashed or something. We've been, especially when you're younger, you've been brainwashed and you fight one another. We were fighting one another. My team fighting against the opposing team and the opposing teams fighting against us. And when I reflect on it, because I hadn't given it much thought until lately, over the last few years, about how people who rally on the side of so-called good, nothing comes from it. It still happens. And meaning that, and I give you an example, illegal alien situation is worse now than it was 30-something years ago. It didn't get better at all. It did not get better. And so the rallies and picket signs and fighting one another on the opposing team, it was just blind people fighting one another. And then the abortion issue, it got worse. More people are having abortion, I guess, than ever. They have legalized it in some places. They now have the morning after pills, and women are more convinced today that it's their body and it's okay to kill the man's children in the womb than any other time. Nothing really changed. And the people that was fighting for and against, in my generation, the ones that were heading up those different organizations, and we were all joining together to get this thing done, they have died. Some of them, few of them have died, and nothing changed. It only got worse. And it only got worse, and it only got worse, and nothing got better. It's to the point now that illegal aliens are invited into our country, and they are coming in from around the world. And it's to the point that no one really cares in government, that they're spending our money in foreign countries talking about, we got another Janet, so-called U.S. Treasurer, Janet Yellen or whatever her stupid name is. She's like, we got a lot of money to help Israel and the Ukraine. But they're doing nothing about what's happening in this country, right? And so I'm like, wow, that did not work at all. It didn't work. All those rallies and things that happen. I never got in a fight in a rally, but there were other people there. Some of them were literally fist fighting and hitting each other with objects and things like that. But nothing came from it. And then now I'm looking at the, and I do remember incidents where the police, especially in L.A., would show up, and the people who were fighting to stop abortion and stop illegal aliens from coming in were getting attacked by those who opposed it. And so the cops would come, and they were, for the most part, exceptions to the rule. I can't remember the exception, but I'm always exception to the rule. They would protect the ones that were attacking the people who were against illegal alien coming in, because the ones who were against it would bring weapons with them, frozen Coke cans and things like that. And then they would let them fight, the cops would, and then they would say, illegal organizer, we got to end this rally today. And I remember when we used to hold this street pride rally, I used to participate up there with the people who put it on. And the opposing team would come, and they would just attack. They would attack the Proud Boys and everybody. And then the Proud Boys in the media would be accused of being the attacker. But the point is, nothing became of those rallies, not for the good. And then now we have this war going on between Israel and Palestine, Hamas, or whomever. And I'm looking at and paying close attention at all these young people in these universities who are now organizing against one another. They are organizing against one another. They're fighting one another. They're accusing one another. And it's, every day now they're having some form of a rally, some in support of Palestine, some in support of Israel. And the young people in droves fighting against one another about this thing, these wars that are happening. And then you ask them, why are you doing this? They only can tell you what they hear the media saying, or their so-called experts. They really don't know what the real deal is. They really don't know what the truth is, right? Of why these wars are happening. And I realize that, and even in some of the foreign countries right now, it's being reported that the Hamas people are they're going to the embassies and they are blowing up some of the embassies, American or foreign embassies, and I believe they said one American embassy were attacked somewhere. And they're starting to kill people in the streets, just doing it. And they don't know what the real deal is, right? They really don't know what the real deal is, but they're fighting one another, just as we used to fight one another in the streets, not knowing what the real deal was. And the mind, being evil, cause you to think that you know what the real deal is, but you really don't. And you take sides. I realize that the mind won't, in the word, God said, let your answer be yes and no. But the mind won't let your answer be yes and no. It gives you something to fill in the blank. And you fill in the blank, and once you fill that blank in, you're going to take some type of action. And in your mind, you think it's the right action to take. When you think about the wars that are happening right now, just as when we were rallying and doing all that, somebody, whether it's in our government or somewhere, they were making money off these abortion things, off the illegal aliens, off the rallies and everything. and they put in the media what they wanted us to hear so that we would react, and they would use that for personal gain. And because they never, and this is on the side of Republicans and Democrats and whomever's in charge, right? They didn't want the abortion to end. The doctors and the pill-making people, pharmacy people and all that, they didn't want abortion to end. They didn't want illegal immigration to end. They don't want the wars to end because it's money in there in these things for themselves. They are making money. I don't care both sides or who it is. They are making money. And so no matter how we fight one another, and they're glad that we do, they're making their money while we're fighting. And we don't really know what the real deal is, to be honest. And it's too bad, too. But so, like with this war happening in Israel right now, with Israel and the Palestinians, we don't know what the real deal is. Because wars doesn't have to happen when you think about it. And when wars are happening, like with the war in your own personal life, it's because of the bitterness of your heart. It's because your ego is on the run. But you won't admit that to yourself. You pretend it's something else, and you get a thrill out of doing what you do. You get a false sense of enjoyment, false sense of life. And I'm looking at these young people today, all around this country and around the world, how they're out protesting and fighting with one another, attacking one another, and blaming one another, and they have nothing to do with it. They didn't start the war, and they don't know why it started. And I also find that it's interesting is that when the ego wants power and wealth, it will fight a war, start a war, and the people who don't even know what it's all about, they get killed. People who are not even a part of the war, they're just regular folks in the towns, in the cities, they get killed because the people who are running the wars, who start the wars, are making money, and that's all they care about. They don't care about the children. They don't care about the men. They don't care about the women. They don't care. They just care about the money, the thrill that they're getting. But it's interesting to watch these things happen in a different set of eyes. These young people are literally fighting each other. It's like before the war broke out, they were just going to class, being brainwashed, doing their thing, right? But being brainwashed anyway by the teachers. And then the war started, and they all come out of the classroom, and they split down the middle, one side of the road, and they fight. And when the war ends, they go back to their corner. But the people who started the war are satisfied because they made good profit off the war.
She thinks I'm a little lazy. I think she's a little crazy. We like summer and we like...
And so, 888-775-3773. 888-77-JESSE. The blindness of human beings goes be you can't understand it with your mind, with your intellect. Let me take a quick break. Back in a moment.
She flashed every police car, drinking wine and getting tired, shooting out the damn street lights. How does she put up with me? Oh, baby, we got our own thing.
Steve, thank you for calling and thanks for holding. How have you been helped by the show?
I'm going to tell you this. I believe you might go down in history as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, black man that ever lived on planet Earth, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know anybody before you that's been that great. You know, freeing the slaves is one thing, but you've been freeing people of their mind, which matters, it should be anyhow, to you more than anything else, because with the mind not being right, there ain't nothing else going to happen right anyway.
If you can doubt every thought because you're not your thoughts, if you can doubt every thought, knowing that you are not your thoughts, you don't create them, they're not from God, that they're from the deceiver, the great deceiver, Satan. If you can doubt every thought, you can be free, just like that. At an instant. Bring every thought into captivity. It's so amazing. So, we have the original background of Halloween in the background here. So we'll rotate them. This is the first one we had. Ryan made that one. Amazing. Couple of quick announcement. Number one, the ladies forum tomorrow night, Thursday night, if the Lord is willing, and the creek don't rise. The women's forum at 7 p.m., ladies, for ladies only, every third Thursday night. And then the first Thursday night for men only, Sunday morning, everybody and their mama. At 9 a.m. this morning, the Hake report, Monday through Friday, the Hake report. From 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time, and at 12 noon, the Anchor Baby Show at 12 noon Pacific time today. All right. And for personal shout-outs, I do a lot of them right now. Birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, congratulations, whatever the situation may be. You can go to Cameo Encouragement, CAMEO.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. CAMEO.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. All right. I just want to finish this one point, and then I'll get to your calls and super chats. There is a line open at 888-7753-773. So what I realized is that I remember a little bit I know about Christ, the Son of the Father, that he never held rallies. He never held protests fighting for or against. He never participated in a war. He never went around building anything. And I now know why. Remember I said, in the Word. In the beginning, it was the Word with God. God was the Word with God. Matthew says in 5:37, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Anything more than this is from the evil one. Anything more than this is from the evil one. And the evil one doesn't want you to have a blank in there. He wants you to keep thinking and overreacting so that he can destroy you. And use you to try to destroy others. To try and destroy others. And so what I realized is that the rallies don't work. The wars don't work. The only thing a war does is get people killed and bring in money for those who are supporting a war. That's why you see these warmongers, right? They love wars because they invest in the building of the equipment for the wars. They invest in all kinds of things. And they make buku money. And they'll let you get killed if you live in the area, in the country or the neighborhood or whatever. They'll get you killed And they'll pretend that they care. They'll go on the media. Oh, my heart goes out to the family of those who were killed. I'm praying for those who were killed. And they can care 2 cents about it. Because if they cared, they wouldn't be having a war. And so what I realized that human heart is wicked. Those who are starting these wars, those who are participating in these wars, those who are fighting, the young people who are splitting and dividing against each other and call themselves Palestine versus the Jews versus Israel, the Christian versus the Muslim versus the whatever, right? Everyone's heart is wicked. And every ego thinks that is right. Every ego thinks that is right. And you can't convince an ego-driven person that they're wrong. You can't do it. They cannot hear the truth. They're going to reject it. Their minds are closed off, their hearts, to the truth. They ain't going to hear it. You can't convince an ego-driven, angry person that he's wrong or she is wrong. As Matthew said, 5:37 said, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Anything more than this is from the evil one. He give you words to add on, right? But what I realized, most people are not going to get it. They'll learn it intellectually, but nothing will never change in their lives, and they're not going to get it. But what I realized is that you have to change the hearts of the people. And when I say you have to change it, you as a physical person cannot change it. I can't even change my own heart. No one can change their own heart. But you got to point people truly back to the Father, and the Father will change their hearts, and the war will end. Because in all reality, real reality, not illusion reality, but in real reality, the war is in each individual. It's in each individual. It's in your body and your mind. And when the heart truly changes, the ego starts to disappear and the war is over. You really see that there's no reason to be fighting one another. Because now you're starting to be influenced by the light and not the darkness from within. And the war will be over. But you're not going to change things by fighting one another. You're not going to change things by taking sides. Because when you really smoke on it, you really don't know what's going on. You don't know why these people are fighting one another. But in the end goal, they're fighting for money and perceived power all over the world. All over the world. To the point, I mean, it's no different than in your world. Look how mothers do the men's children. They're destroying the children. They're at war with the father. And they're destroying the children trying to get to the father. And then when other family members and so-called friends hear about it, they take the woman's side. They don't know what the real truth is, but they'll take her side and go against the father. And when fathers and mothers who are married get together, they fight one another. There's a war. And then divorce and this and that, right? It's a spiritual battle inside of you. Everything you think, everything you feel, everything you think about others and what they think about you are your thoughts. If you want to be free, you got to get away from thinking. You want to live a no-thinking life. You want to live a honest, clear heart life, a heart of love. And you don't want to do it for others. You should want to do it because it's the right thing, the way to be. You were created to live on earth with love and not with hate. You were created for the purpose of love coming through you from the Father to the world. It's just so, I'm using the word unfortunate, but I don't know if I mean that word. It's so unfortunate. Again, I'm using it for communication purposes. It's so unfortunate to see these young people fighting one another over war that they don't know for sure what's happening. They're just feeding back, repeating, giving out what they hear and what others say and what the media give them, what online give them, and they have taken sides. Because the mind won't let them say no or yes. It'll make them add more, and that's from the evil one. And they fight one another. They literally become one another's bitter enemies over something that they cannot admit. I really don't know. So I'm not taking sides because I don't really, really know. And I want you to watch with the war that's happening right now in Israel and Palestine or Hamas. I don't even know the difference, but and then in Ukraine and Russia. I want you to watch. Ain't nothing going to change. They'll just find another country to have another war in so that it can make more money and perceive power. And run around like they're doing something important. Ain't nothing going to change. We just had a war in Afghanistan somewhere. And supposedly they had ended that war. That war's supposed to be over. There doesn't change. The fight kept going. Oh, we didn't leave there the right way. We left our equipment. We left soldiers. He's wrong. She's wrong. They're wrong. The fight continued. And then another war started. And these people who are starting these wars, they're fat and sassy. And only thing that's going to ever happen on this earth are wars. War in your own little private world and in the big world. It's the same spirit. And then you fight one another. It's time to lay your weapon down. This is evil. It's evil. I was looking at a report, and it said that, and again, I don't know what the truth is because the media is not going to tell you the truth. And the people who are heading up these wars on both sides not going to tell you the truth. They just know, okay, you're from this country, so you support us. You from that country, you support us, no matter what we do, even if you don't know the real deal. But they were saying that Hamas people fired a missile toward Israel, but the missile didn't make it. It went down in Palestine, and it ended up hitting a hospital, and doctors and nurses and patients, many were killed. And at this point, both sides blaming each other. Palestinians blaming Israel. Israel saying, no, I didn't do it. It was Palestine. And in all honesty, I'm in America. I don't really know what happened. I just don't know. But there's a part want to take sides, right? Well, how about I don't know? You should try that a little bit. It feels like you don't have anything to hold on to when you say, I don't know. Anything more than I don't know, when you really don't know, is from the evil one. It's from the evil one. And ain't nothing going to change. The only thing that's going to change and can change is you as an individual. When your heart changes, you will change. And you will have an amazing life in the midst of all the hell around you, because you will overcome the hell inside of you. What a mess, huh? Ain't nothing going to change, I'm telling you. Just reflect. We've been having wars forever. Forever. It just goes from war to war because the hearts are evil. Wars in families, wars in friendships, wars in employmentship, wars in government, between countries, between cities, between everything. But you won't stop and take a look because you're not taking a look at yourself. Know thyself, and you will understand everything that's going on around you. You will understand it. You will know it. And it will be hard for anyone to deceive you. They'll be trying to deceive you, but you'll be looking right through them, and you will understand. You won't hate them. You won't try to get revenge because you know now what's driving them. Every human being is possessed with evil. And once you truly recognize that and you forgive, you will overcome the possession of evil. Then you will be possessed by the divine spirit of the Father, God. Your nature will change. And the game is over. 888-775-3773. Let me go to Tomer out of Israel. Tomer, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi, Jesse. How are you?
All is well, Tomer. How are you?
Now I'm in LA, so it's a bit... I feel more safe, but maybe I shouldn't. I don't know.
You're in LA?
Yeah, I ran away. I started to panic. What can I tell you?
So you had gone back to Israel, and then when the war started, you panicked?
Yeah, I started to think like, I heard what happened, and I thought maybe it would not be possible to buy flight ticket, and I panicked, and I bought a flight ticket, and whatever it was. And I got to tell you, it's not good. I'm not optimistic at all. They want, as every male in Israel, I was a soldier. But now, because things happened, they will not. I'm not allowed to get a gun. I don't want to talk about too much personal stuff, but I cannot protect myself, and I don't trust anyone of what happened there. If there's I don't want to talk bad about my country, and I don't want to talk bad about Biden now that I visit here in the United States, because, in Israel, people now, the hope is on Biden. I know it sounds not great, but this is the Israeli hope now. It looks like sometimes things start to get under control, but I tell you the truth, I'm not optimistic. And as an individual who wants to, to live life peacefully, the second I look at the map, it's enough to look at the map and see what is Israel surrounded, and understand it's simply not safe. Simply not safe at these conditions.
And when the war ends, because it will stop for a minute at some point, are you going back to Israel?
I have a flight back. I'm here on a tourist visa, and I got some. I was afraid of the protest because eventually we see on the news only the protest. So I don't know. It doesn't look too scary, but spiritual battle, spiritual war.
Yeah.
But I wanted also to say, I heard last week when Hassan said the word concentration camp, I needed to clear it. And I just didn't want to call immediately and started to get all, because because, it's sensitive times and I don't want to talk bad about my country or anything. But this concentration camp is not completely accurate. And as I said, it's enough to look at the map. When you write on the map the Muslim country, you see the small Israel surrounded by the Muslim country. And you see that the Gaza Strip has a border with Egypt. So if they are so worried about the humanitarian, why don't they open the border from the south to Egypt? And today I saw even in the news that Egypt said, if you will try to force us to accept civilians of Gaza, we will start a war with Israel, another one, with Egypt. So I say there is a lot of hypocrisy. And of course, I need to remind that the leaders of the Palestinians in the Gaza say death to America. They said it. They're saying death to Israel and they're saying death to America. So how come there is so much support? Although I'm not that surprised.
I did see on the news.
People in America don't like America so much.
I did see in the media, and again, because I clearly don't trust the media anymore, I saw where they said there's those Muslim countries, I forgot which one, I know Egypt was one of them, that will not allow the citizens from Palestine to come into their country. So even the Muslim countries don't want them in there. And they said that the reason that they don't want them in there is because when they do come in, terrorist people come in with them, and that mindset that some of the refugees have is that of the terrorist people, because they've been so well trained, that the fight was started in their country, and they're trying to avoid that. Let me ask.
But it proves that innocent civilians are not so innocent, and this is based on what we see in the news. We don't really. I tell you the truth. I don't know what's going on. It looks like nobody does anything until they come knocking on your door and the shooting starts.
Let me ask this: were you in an area where bombs and things were dropping?
Yeah, the bombs are all over Israel. The air, because of the...
Hold on, Tomo, hold on for me. I want to ask, don't hang up, I want to ask you, were you living in an area where shooting and bombing and things were happening? I got to take a break 2 more hours ago, but I come back. Your phone calls and super chats. 888-7753-773. Hake is coming in with the hate news, not the fake news, but the hate news. I'll be back in a moment. We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really, really, really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingaman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven.
Israel-Hamas drama. It is continuing, ongoing. A bombing at a hospital, or at least an explosion at a hospital over in the Palestinian area. And not Britney Spears. I could have saved her. If you heard American Anchor Baby yesterday, you're already up on the news I'm going to present to you. And Greta Thunberg was arrested. She's a regular MLK. in London. Base London police arrested her for disrupting with her climate mess. This is the end of hour one of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It is Wednesday, October 18th, 2023 AD. There is one line open. You can call in to get on hold, to get on air with JLP. He will be right back to your calls and more great stories. But first, Hake News, not fake news. Women's Forum is tomorrow night, ladies. Third Thursday of the month, 7 p.m. at Bond in Los Angeles. Rebuildingtheman.com/events if you need more info, or you can always call the Bond office. Leave a message if it's off hours, 323-782-1980, 323-782-1980, or 800-411-BOND, 1-800-411-2663. The overcomplicated, success-punishing tax scam. The IRS is building its own free, quote-unquote, taxpayer-funded tax filing program that, if successful, would serve as an alternative to private tax preparation companies like H&R Block or Intuit's TurboTax and many mom-and-pop shops. A pilot version of the online program set to launch in 13 states next year. So we'll see what happens, if it's feasible for them to expand their program in the future. And President Biden, so-called President, Sleepy Joe Biden, per CNN and The Skim, arrived in Tel Aviv, Israel, against a backdrop of a deadly hospital blast in Gaza. Yesterday, an explosion at Al-Ahli Hospital in Gaza City killed hundreds, including children, per Gaza's health ministry. Hamas blamed Israel. Israel blamed a failed rocket launch from Palestinian Islamic Jihad, which is another group different from Hamas, and that group denied involvement. Biden this morning said the blast appeared to be done by the other team, not Israel. We'll see. Journalists are on the case, so we may not get the truth. Biden said he was outraged and deeply saddened, wants to continue gathering info about what exactly happened. Protests erupted across countries in the Middle East, Lebanon, Iran, Turkey. Jordan canceled meeting with Biden in Amman after this. They'd planned to host Egypt and the Palestinian Authority for humanitarian aid. Based King Abdullah II of Jordan said the Middle East is on the brink of falling into the abyss. He won't take Gaza refugees, as you may have heard. I use the term base loosely, perhaps, I don't know. He also said that Egypt won't. Biden wants to discourage Iranian involvement as violent clashes escalate along the Israel-Lebanon border with Iran-backed Hezbollah. Biden faces growing demands to call for an immediate ceasefire. Sounds like a good idea? I don't know. You may have heard about this on American Anchor, baby. Far left ladies at the Skim report. Who's opening about a tough decision? Britney Spears. She's that pop singer. Yesterday, outlets published excerpts from her upcoming memoir, The Woman in Me, revealing the pop star had an abortion during her relationship with Justin Timberlake, another pop singer guy. Wannabe Michael Jackson type of guy, right? In the book, Britney Spears said if the decision had been left only to her, she never would have done it. What? Spears and Timberlake began dating in 1999. She was 17, he was 18. The couple split in 2002. Spears said the pregnancy was a surprise, but not a tragedy. It was for the baby, am I right? Anyway, she said the Timberlake wasn't happy about the pregnancy. He was so sure he didn't want to be a father. Timberlake has not commented. Britney Spears' book is dropping next week. Who knows if she's even telling the truth, you know? She claimed to feel like a child robot under conservatorship, opening up about her life story in her upcoming memoir. What a mess. And Greta Thunberg is a regular Martin Luther King Jr. She got booted from the picket line. Based London police arrested the 20-year-old, she's 20 now, former mentally ill Swedish child, or former child anyway. Still maybe mentally ill, still maybe Swedish. Activists protesting the oil and gas conference at a luxury hotel. So they were disrupting the hotel and guests. Fourth time this year she's been arrested and removed from a protest, just like Martin Luther King. I'm James Hake.
Stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the second hour of the show today. Manhood Hour is coming up in the third hour, the next hour. You can get involved. There is a line open at 888-7753, 773 888-77-JESSE. And my biblical question for this week is a doozy. What is the boomerang in your life? What is the boomerang in your life? Amazing, huh? What is the boomerang? It's so interesting. You know, it's so interesting to me. Mind-blowing interesting. Is that each individual life can be totally different than what it is. But the brainwashing, from the moment you pop out of mama's womb, the brainwashing is astonishing. It's amazing. It's so deep that you really forget reality. But when you wake up, and you can all prove me wrong. You can prove me wrong. I'm going to prove Jesse wrong. There's not another life in me. I'm going to prove Jesse wrong. I'm going to go and forgive my mama. I'm going to forgive my daddy. Return to my father. I'm going to be still and see what happens. You'll see. It'll blow your mind. It's so not what's happening outside of you that it's not even funny. The brainwashing is mind-blowing. I saw this clip pop up on my phone yesterday when Joel was doing this show. He black. And it was from the, what's that movie, Hassan? The religious movie with Jesus?
The Chosen.
The Chosen. And this woman was at the well getting some water, and she was there alone out in the desert. Looked like the desert. Called Israel looked like the desert, I guess. But she was out in the desert getting some water by herself. And normally the women go out there together. A bunch of women go out there because they're not safe to get the water. And so this Jesus showed up. Either he was already there or he went there while she was there. And Jesus asked the woman for some water. He like, will you give me some water? He was just playing. And the woman said, no, you don't want to drink water with me. I'm a Samaritan. What's that word, Samaritan?
Samaritan.
Samaritan. And you a Jew. And the Jews don't drink water with the Samaritan. And Jesus said, this popped up on my phone while watching Joel Friday show yesterday. He black. TV. Joel Friday TV. And he said, no, I asked you for some water. You won't give me water? And she was like, you don't want to drink water with me. I'm a Samaritan. Samaritan plus. And now I'm a little paraphrasing because I forgot her exact words. But in essence, she said, I'm a sinner. I've been married 3 or 4 times. And she's been divorced 3. I think she was married 3 times, but now she's living with a guy at that time. And so you don't want to drink water with me. And then Jesus said, well, I have water for you, And the water that I have is everlasting. It is a spring of water. Oh, here's it. Thank you, Sean. John 4. Jesus answered this woman that was at this well. Jesus answered, everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drink the water I give them will never thirst. The water I give them will become in them a spring of water, welling up to eternal life. That's so deep and so true, I don't even know what to tell you. There is another life. Well, there is a life, because the life you have is hell. You don't have a life. But anyway, so he said to the woman, he told her that about his water. And the lady like, but so what Jesus did was, while she was saying, no, he asked, why are you out here by yourself? It's not safe. And she asked him, why are you out here by yourself? He's like, I'm with other people. They're behind me there. They're coming. And so he asked her, why are you here by yourself? She's like, well, I'm not a clean woman, so the other women don't want to play with me. They don't want to hang out with me. I'm not a clean woman, unclean woman. And then Jesus said to her, well, I know you. You've been married. The first time you got married, your husband cheated on you. He didn't treat you right. The second time you got married, you had a good husband, a good man, but because you were treated wrong with the first man, you messed up the second marriage. And then the man you're living with now, you're not happy with him. And she looked at him, she's like, you don't know me. What y'all? You know me? How you know all my business? I ain't been telling it. And Jesus said, I know you. And he said, I also want you to know that your sins are forgiven. You're not guilty. Your sins have been washed away and you are free. Paraphrasing. Your sins are free. You are free from sin. And she looked and she recognized who he was. And she saw that he was the Messiah that the people had been waiting for. And when she saw it, immediately she was free. But what would happen, she was free in the mind. She was free of judging herself. She was free of worrying about what others think about her or thought about her and what she thought about herself. She was free of the heart. And she dropped this, they have a long stick that they carry on their shoulder, and on each end, they carry pails of waters. And she dropped it, and it's like, wow, I'm free. Thank you, thank you. And she started like really excited, and she was starting to run back home, and she ran into Mary and Martha and all them following Jesus, right? And she like, I'm free. Jesus had made me free. Oh, and she told Jesus, you have made me free. I'm going to go and tell everybody. And Jesus said, I was hoping you'd do exactly that. You go and spread the word of freedom. And I say all that to say, what you're fighting over is not it. And it's not, I can't begin to promise you. Now, I can't change you, all right? My promise is, once you as an individual, you have friends, you have family, you have co-workers, you have this, you have that. But you gotta live, you gotta travel this road alone. You can't take anyone with you. Isn't that interesting? But I want you to know you're already free. You're just not free of your mind. You're not free of your mind. And fighting one another, trying to hurt one another, backbiting and revenge and gossiping and trying to hurt one another, it's only making your self. It's keeping you in your hell. You're really not hurting anyone but yourself. What you do to others, you are doing to yourself. I can promise you that. Now, the other person, because they live in their imagination, they may think that you're hurting them, but you're not. They're only thinking that. If all these young kids and things, the Jewish kids and the Palestinian kids, if they have been raised in the light by their parents, and these things would happen, they would talk about them, but there would be no battle between them. They would know that I'm not a part of that. Somebody else fighting for whatever reason, but let us not fight. We haven't done anything to one another. And see what happened. And Jesus set that woman free of evil. She was possessed with evil. And God doesn't hold anything against anyone. He doesn't punish you. He doesn't accuse you. He doesn't make you feel guilty. He doesn't make you feel happy or sad, lonely, or whatever else you put with loneliness. He has nothing to do with it. All your sins have been washed away. You are the real you is really a free person. You just don't know it. A free spirit. That's why you must walk in the spirit and in truth. Meaning that the truth, the real truth that only comes from God, not from another human being. As John 4 said, Jesus answered, everyone who drink this water, meaning the water that you were drawing from the well, they will be thirsty again. Don't you want some more water when you drink water? Physical water. But whomever drink the water I give them will never thirst. Never thirst. The water I give them will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life. And eternal life is right here, right now, all the time. But Satan wants you to live in the past or the future. There's no eternal life there. There's nothing but hell. It's death. So I want you to know you're already free. Anyway, I forgot where I left off. We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on JesseLeePeterson.com. If you're busy and not being able to watch the show right now, you can listen on your iPhone, iPad. You can podcast the show later by calling 641-793-1500. It's so much fun working on your life. There's no greater fun. You know, I hear people say, I don't want to let go of my angry life because it's fun. I feel like they say Christianity would be boring. What a mess. Admitting that you love evil. But anyway, follow us on JLP Talk on X and cozy.tv/JLP. Cozy.tv/JLP. And to donate and have your super chats read out loud, go to buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk and rebuildingtheman.com. Rebuildingtheman.com. I want to go quickly back to Toma, and Toma is here. He said he's in this country from Israel because when the war started, he came to to America. Toma, when you were in Israel, were you in an area that was being bombed and shot at?
Right now, all of Israel is being shot at rockets.
No.
But we have a system that it called the Iron Dome, and it blocks. So right now, I'm in the area which is like safe. It's the center.
So
near Tel Aviv.
You say near Tel Aviv?
Yeah, close.
And so while you were there, you didn't, in the area that you were in, there were no bombing and shooting at the time.
Except for the rockets. You go to the shelter every time there is an alarm. So it's not nothing. But compared to the south, right now, which I mean south, I mean 50-minute drive. Yeah, that's how far the war is from me. Like I'm telling you, the real war that evacuated all the people.
So, but were there in your area, were there bombs dropping?
Rockets.
Were there rockets and bombs in your area where you were staying at the time?
Yeah. Rockets, yes.
Oh, okay.
Rockets fall, yeah, but not a lot.
Oh, okay.
But they fall because it's not completely 100%, but 1 out of like 100, I don't know, it falls. But it's not the reason I left. If it interests you, like I'm afraid that this government will say, no more flights, you know?
Oh, I see.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I buy just in case. And then what? I don't know what to do next. And the truth is, I didn't panic as much as I just, you know, I had such a great month and it came and ruined everything. I do the silent prayer every morning. Everything goes well, and suddenly you see this, and I don't know. This seems like something different this time from the other times.
Oh, okay. I often wonder about the citizens of these cities and towns where this war thing be happening. I wonder, that would be a hard way to have to live, knowing that bombs and shootings are happening, and all you try to do is go to the store, go to the gym. You ain't a part of it. But the people who are fighting, they don't mind dropping bombs and shooting at you, and you have nothing to do with it. I often wonder what that felt like to the citizens who live in those areas.
Yeah, but listen, I got to tell you, I see the pictures from Europe, and I'm not saying all Muslims are like this, but I worked with a lot of people, but you say yourself, in the religion, there is a problem that they say that infidel, like you always ask, they say in the religion they're infidel.
Right.
So, of course, I understand it could be interpreted not to kill everybody in the world, yeah? But eventually, there's a lot of, you know, there is a reason why Trump did the Muslim ban, yeah? There is a reason for it. And I wish it wasn't like that, but many honest, or at least honest people, or decent, non-violent Muslim, they also suffer from right now. But if you go and free Palestine, while the leader of the Hamas saying death to America, I don't know. It's not safe anyway. It could come also to USA. You know, you see London, you see all of Europe. I don't know what to tell you. You say you must wonder, but I think if nothing changes, you will see for yourself.
How are you feeling right now that you're out of there? How are you feeling?
Much better.
Okay.
No doubt. And by the way, the reason I called is not like I didn't plan to talk about something or had a specific question. I wanted to visit Bond, but nobody answered, so I just thought maybe a talk of few minutes.
Yeah, call a little later today. The office doesn't open until 9 a.m.
Okay.
All right. So
Great
one last.
Talk to you.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Call the office today. Let me ask: Do you know anyone or any of your family members that were either killed or kidnapped or anything like that?
No.
Oh, good.
I know.
Good.
I don't know, but right now there are a lot of the people are recruiting. They are recruiting I think eventually they will recruit everybody to the army. It will be like an army state. But the situation is something I never seen. I think my parents also said that even the worst time in Israel, they didn't see these times.
Amazing.
Something else.
What a mess.
And, it's spiritual war.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, Toma, call the office after 9 a.m., all right?
Sure. Great.
All right, but thanks
Bye.
for calling. Okay. What a mess, huh? See, Toma's not a part of the war, but he's suffering as a result of the war, of both sides. I was looking at, they were holding this big rally in Palestine today. I guess it's day. I think their day is ahead of my day because of that bomb that dropped on the hospital in Palestine. And it was like, it appeared to be a bunch of guys, mostly guys, some women. And they're just mad. Just mad. But I can guarantee you, if you really ask 10 of them, if you ask 10 of them, why are you mad? Why are you out here protesting? Why are you doing this? They were saying the Allahu Akbar thing. If you ask them why, the only thing that they would do is repeat what they heard, what they're seeing in the media. They don't know why they're there for themselves. They really just don't know. And they'll repeat it, what they've heard, and they'll get a thrill from it. And you can't convince them that they don't know. But they're out there in the street chanting Allahu Akbar. They have been convinced to hate their fellow man. And the ones who are convincing them, they're just making money and perceived power. Only follow God. Only follow the truth. Anyone that has anger is a murderer. Anyway, Josh out of Georgia. Georgia, oh my mind. Josh, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Morning, Jesse.
Hey, Josh.
Yes, sir. I was calling to answer that biblical question.
What is the boomerang in your life? What is the boomerang?
It's the demon in me that I keep trying to throw away, but it keeps coming back.
How are you trying to throw it away?
By trying to force myself to stop vices.
And why are you trying to force yourself?
Because it seems like the right thing to do.
And how does that seem like the right thing to do?
Because, let's see. It's like, okay, it results in pain.
If trying to force your vices to go, I can't respond to the biblical claim, but I can.
Yeah, I know.
If trying to get rid of your own vices was the right thing to do, why aren't you able to do it? If it was the right thing to do,
right? That's the conclusion I'm coming to.
That was a question.
Say again.
That was a question.
Oh. You said, why does it seem like the right thing to do?
Yeah, you said you said you're fighting against the spirit trying to get rid of your vices, right?
Yes.
But you can't. And I asked you, why are you trying to get rid of your vices? You said
the demon in me.
You said it seemed like it's the right thing to do. It seemed to be the right thing to do to get rid of your vices. And I asked, if it's the right thing to do, why can't you get rid of them? If it's the right thing to do.
If it's the right thing to do, why can't I get rid of my vices?
Right.
Because it's not the right thing to do. Something is tricking me into thinking that.
And so why do you keep fighting, trying to get rid of them then?
I don't want to be a crackhead.
A crackhead?
Yeah, and it seems like it's like I can substitute. I cannot drink. I cannot smoke. I cannot be a slut maker. But there's some other vice it's like playing whack-a-mole. Some other vice is going to pop up. So
Why are you focused on vices, period? Why not just focus on your... That was a question. Why not just focus on your heart? Why are you focused on vices?
I don't know.
I don't want to be left alone.
Well, I think I do know. As a matter of fact, it's
I've done catching my breath, letting it go, turning my cheek for the sake of the show. Why are you focused on vices and not your heart?
all right. Because to focus on my heart means to do nothing, and that seems like the hardest thing to do.
It's to do nothing?
Yes.
What do you mean by that? Because you're not doing anything by focusing on your vices. You're doing nothing. All you're trying is nothing. So what do you mean by to focus on the heart? It's the hardest thing to do because it seems like it's to do nothing.
I've tried that too, to do nothing, and it doesn't seem to work.
What doesn't seem to work?
Me trying to do nothing.
But if you're not doing anything, it is working.
Right.
It's only when you try to do something that is not working. How is doing nothing not working?
Right.
No, that was a question. How is doing nothing not working?
I don't know that it's not working. It just seems like it's not working. That's all.
And how does it seem if you're doing nothing? That means that nothing is happening. How does it seem like it?
Because I feel pain, and that pain is not my pain. It's the demon's pain in me.
So when you do,
but I feel it, and it feels like it's my pain.
But you don't feel pain when you're trying to do something?
Afterwards, during the hangover, that's when the pain comes. But when I'm doing something, it feels good. So that's the trick.
Oh, I see. I understand. But you, just for the record, you're not a real crackhead. You just use that as an example, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's like...
Yeah, what? Are you a crackhead?
No. I mean, I don't see the difference between crack and alcohol, really.
There is none.
The only reason... Huh?
There is no difference.
Right, there is none, right. Yeah, you just want to feel good. That's the only reason anybody does anything weird like that.
Make me feel good.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Well, I appreciate you responding to the biblical question, Josh, and I'll put my little 2 cents in on Sunday. I got to take a break. Call me again, all right?
Yes, sir, will do. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Interesting. That was an amazing conversation with Josh. Let me take a quick break. When I come back, your super chats and phone calls, 888-77-53773. 888-77-JESSE. Back in a moment. Now, I totally disagree with the way things are going, but you can't be angry because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to control you. They do things to make you mad so they can control you. It's like being married, and the wife would do things to make you mad, or she'll do things to make you feel good. And men do that to women too when they want something from the woman, especially sex. They'll make her feel good, or they'll make her angry. And the woman's gonna have to say, you don't want to be angry. You want to speak up. You want to disagree with what's going on. It's wrong, but do not be angry. Then you won't have fear. You won't have doubt. You won't have worries. You'll be able to see, but you got to stay away from anger. That's why you must forgive your mothers and your fathers so that you can overcome the spirit of anger. It's a spirit and it's wicked. Nothing good in anger because it has no love, folks. You need love to defeat evil. And love is not a weakness. It's a strength. It's from God. It's His nature. Okay, welcome back. 888-7753-773. I want to encourage you to go to bigclubusa.com. Go to bigclubusa.com. And here's one of the things you're going to find there. Watch this. People tell me I have a lot of alpha energy. Jesse, what gives you so much alpha energy, they say? Is it energy drinks? No. Is it cigars? No. It's Alpha Jerky. Alpha Jerky from Big Club USA. Alpha male, and you can have Alpha Jerky energy too. Amazing. And when you go there, put in promo code JLP33, and you'll get 15% off of your purchase. All right? Try the Alpha Jerky. Good. Yeah. I wasn't even eating beef jerky and all that until Alpha Jerky. It's really, really good. I recommend it. Larry from Michigan. Larry, thank you for calling and thanks for holding. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse. Nice to talk to you again.
Yes, sir.
I've noticed that a lot of the illegal aliens that are coming through are not all, but mostly young men.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
And I'm wondering if the Jesse Lee Peterson show was broadcast in Central America, and maybe they're trying to escape the hell of their mothers.
You'll never know. But I believe that if they were escaping the hell of their mothers, they would stay in these asshole countries that they're in, and they will improve upon the country, make them better because they will understand. Because once you let the anger go, you will understand what's really, really going on. That's why I was talking about those rallies we used to hold years ago. I realize now, which I didn't see then, that it was a waste of time to hold rallies. Because life only changes when the human heart changes. And when the heart changed, that's when everything would change. So if they were changing that heart, they can make their country better. But they're coming here because they think that we have the most to offer them. But when they get here, they get everything free. And so they become spoiled. And once you spoil them, then they want to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed
Yeah,
that
just
too,
have
Larry.
them-
A whole bunch of, it's mostly young men coming here, and that's not a good sign.
No, I was just saying that in jest a little bit. But
Yeah.
on a serious note, when I first started listening to you within the past year, I was a little confused that one of your main messages was a lot of times you'll ask, did you forgive your mother? And then you'll also ask, you'll phrase it a different way, did you apologize to your mother for resenting her? And I think I listen to other callers, and sometimes it seems like they're a little confused too. And I'd like you to clarify, when you forgive your mother, you're doing that yourself without voicing that to your mother, is what I've come up with understanding. And then you go to your mother and you apologize to her. You don't forgive her. You apologize to her for resenting her. Is that right?
When I say forgive her or apologize to her, I mean when you see for yourself, not because I said it or someone else said it, but when you can see for yourself that she does make you angry, she does irritate you, you are sick of her trying to control your life or live through you or whatever, right? You feel obligated to her. When you can see for yourself that you have anger toward her, which is resentment, which is hatred, when you see for yourself, it will cause you to realize that wow, I can't help but hate. I don't want to be this way. I've been doing things I don't want to do. I can't help myself. It would cause you to realize that your mother could not help herself. And so you will go and apologize for resenting her because you realize she could not help it. And when you apologize for resenting her, God will forgive you. Apologizing for resenting is forgiveness. I'm wrong for judging. I'm wrong for being angry. And that's what forgiveness is to admit that you're wrong for being angry.
Okay, so I take it, would it be wrong if it was like a two-step process? You forgive internally, and you don't have to necessarily voice that to anyone, but then what you do voice is the apology to your mother for resentment.
What is?
And go ahead.
What do you mean the apology?
Well, I've heard you say that did you go to and apologize to your mother for resenting her?
Right.
And that's different. Apologizing your mother is different than forgiving her. They're two different things.
No, it's the same thing. Forgiveness is never going to happen until you admit that you were wrong for playing God. Anyone that has anger is playing God, and anyone that plays God, they judge themselves and others. And so as long as you play God, you will never know God. So forgiveness is admitting that you were wrong for being angry.
So you voice both things to your mother. You say, I forgive you for this, and I apologize for resenting you for it.
No, you can say one or the other as long as you know it means I'm wrong for resenting you. I apologize for resenting you. I realize now you can help yourself and I'm wrong. I don't understand. I mean, I don't know how you see it differently.
Well, well, look at it this way, how the mother would receive it. If you said, I forgive you for all the wrong you've done in our relationship, she could take that one very different way than saying, I apologize to you for resenting you for doing all these things in our relationship.
And why are you concerned about how she would take it?
Well, I'm not. I'm trying. I only say that so that I can answer your question and have you understand my point.
Oh, if a person is concerned about how their mother will take it, and so they tiptoe around it, then they're not going to be free because they're still afraid of their mother.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. I still really don't understand it then, because I've heard some people call in, and it almost seems like they're forgiving. They'll call and say, "Yeah, I forgave my mother," and you will ask, "Did you voice that to her?" "Yeah, I went to her and I told her I forgive her for all this stuff." And some of them, I don't even think that they honestly do forgive. They're just still going through the motions of it, which I don't feel is the right thing, because you have to first start out with it forgiving in your own heart before you give a false message that you're forgiving her, or you apologize for the resentment for it.
But when you see in your own heart that you're wrong for resenting her, you are forgiving in your heart first. And then you're going and face her for two reasons: to admit to her, "Hey, I'm sorry for resenting you," and also to get your courage back, because everybody, all human beings are afraid of their mothers until they forgive. And then that's the beginning of the end of fear when you face your mother.
Okay. Well, I understand a little more.
Have you gone and forgiven your mother?
What did I do? I apologized to her for resenting the things that she did that built up resentment in me toward her.
Did you forgive her?
Yes, I did that, but I didn't voice that to her. I did that, but I more went the line of, I apologize for having resentment towards her caused by the things that I felt she did wrong, or she did wrong in our relationship.
Right, and it's the same thing. If you, "Hey, mother, I'm sorry for resenting you for what you've done," or you say, I apologize for resenting you. Apologizing for resenting you is the same as saying, "I'm sorry for resenting you. I forgive you."
Yeah, maybe I'm just getting hung up on something screwy here. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like you're hung up on the words.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you ask us, because there may be other people thinking the same way.
Yeah, I figured there probably is.
Yeah. But you're making a simple thing complicated.
Oh, I've done that before, too.
My producer make a good point. He said that you are letting her know that you're wrong for resenting her. You're not looking for forgiveness from her. You are forgiving her.
Agreed.
So you're making you're torn between the yin and the net and the yang.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Well,
I really.
Are you doing the silent prayer every morning, every night?
I do it all day, as much as I can. Actually, there's no set time I do it.
Are you doing the silent prayer every morning, every night?
That was a question. You'd like an answer. Yes.
Okay. Well, stay with it. But you're hung up on something that means the same thing.
Yeah, okay then.
All right. You just, like, one day I may go to the cafe and I ask the person for hog maws and candy yam, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I go the next day and I ask for candy yam and hog maws. It's the same thing.
All right, Jesse. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Amazing call. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. There's a line open, 888-7753-773. Super chat. Super chat.
From yesterday, John bought a coffee. Amazing.
Amazing. Thank you, John.
Good. Actually, he put a G at the end. Amazing.
Amazing.
Soul Conscious bought 5 coffees. Jesse, it's amazing that our government is replacing Americans with illegal aliens. Meanwhile, the same government has made life very difficult for everyday Americans.
I know.
Do you think the people see this?
No. The people are too busy fighting one another. It's so interesting to see this, too. People are really being divided by these issues when they really don't know what the issue is. But if they were to work on themselves and stay calm and not overreact, you will see what the real issue is. And that's all you need to know. But most people don't see it. You can tell people that the borders are wide open in our country. They're spending money in foreign countries, but they're doing nothing about our country. They're spending money in Ukraine and Israel and Iran and China and the African countries and everywhere but at home. We're already spending bucket loads of money in Ukraine, and that stupid Janet Yellen said, "Oh, we got so much money. We got a whole bunch of money we can give to Israel and Ukraine. Don't worry, but y'all don't need it." Politico has reported that Biden expected to ask Congress for $100 billion package, $100 billion package that include aid to Israel and Ukraine, but nothing for America. It's like a married man who already has children, and he leave his wife and children and go take on another woman and her children, and he feed them, but not his own children. I rest my case. It's the same spirit. It's the same spirit. Not aid, but money. What a mess. Thank you.
Beta No More with 3 coffees. Good morning. Yesterday I went to a funeral, and now that I'm waking up, I realize you're correct. 90% of what the pastor was saying was from the devil. He was pushing anger as love and kept saying she was on fire for the Lord, the deceased woman, apparently. What does that really mean? Sad how today we keep pushing the narrative of hate, anger, and sadness as normal feelings. Plus, it seems like he was a used car salesman using her death to push his church, and how his church was on the right path to heaven. He even kept saying she would want us to go to this church, to his church. This is so sad. Lord, we need you now. I didn't judge the pastor. I just didn't pay attention and ate my alpha beef jerky.
Nice. Amazing. You know, you reminded me of something that was also that Jesus said to the woman at the well. What's the name of the movie again?
The Chosen.
The Chosen. Jesus said to the woman at the well, she said, well, something like, I don't remember all the words, right? She said, well, how would I be able to come back here and worship God? This is so dangerous. Where will I go? And he said that you don't ever have to come back here again. He said going to the mountaintop, going to the synagogue, going to this location or that location, in essence, a waste of time. You don't have to go anywhere. It's with you. The kingdom of heaven is with you now. It's not in some location. I thought that was so deep because it's so true. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
It's so true.
Dave Z.
Are you going to watch The Chosen now that you heard all these good things?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Uh-huh.
If you you can hear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dave ZX6R bought a coffee. Love you, Jess, and your experts. Whoa.
Thank you.
Shorten the name. With respect,
it's Jesse, not Jess.
Yeah.
White people love to cut off people's names.
They're not the only ones. I resent that remark. But anyway, with respect, you're way off with the Israel thing. The U.S. Gov is run by Israel, and they are running it into the ground. By supporting Netanyahu, you are supporting genocide of innocent people who do not support Hamas. Nick on Cozy TV, blah, blah, blah. Love to you all.
Amazing. Thank you, Nick. Amazing. Thank you.
A great 34...
Dream team. May I tell you the dream team?
All right.
The Great White Hope, Donald Trump, Netanyahu, and Putin. Vladimir Putin, the dream team.
What about Orban? Viktor Orban.
That one that we played.
Hungary, I think? No, that's another guy. Poland.
Oh, yeah, Hungary guy.
Yeah. Hungary and Poland are okay.
We will have peace on earth if we had those guys.
Nice. Someone bought you 34 coffees, a testimony. Last Sunday's service was profound. I, too, have been on a similar path and came close to giving up. For so long, I was immersed in thoughts, feelings, emotions. It became nearly impossible not to identify with them. It reached a point where I could not move, drink, eat, nor sleep in peace. The message on Sunday illuminated something within me, helped me recognize that I had been led astray by the thoughts all along. I've been trapped in the belief that I can't, when in reality, it can't. Now today, when I feel hatred, I recognize it can't forgive, but God's will can, so I do. When gripped with fear or uncertainty, I understand that it can't overcome the obstacles, but God's will can, so I do. When overwhelmed by hopelessness, I realize that it can no longer endure the pain to continue living on in this life. Yet by adhering to God's will, I find the strength to persevere. The simple yet hell of a lesson helped me finally see the not me. It also helped me realize that free will is just another way of saying not of God's will. Free will cannot will anything of itself, whereas everything is possible for God. The mind is capable of great imagination, and I've always believed I could discern between reality and fantasy. Yet, I've been misled all my life into thinking the notion of I was real, when it, too, is merely a figment of the imagination. Lastly, I underwent a surreal experience that very night. I drifted into slumber, sensed a presence within me writhing in pain and agony, yet I am certain it wasn't me. For throughout the entire ordeal, I remained tranquil and at peace. I hope this testimony resonates with someone. Thank you all for the fellowships.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let me ask. Would you let somebody go into your house and steal from you?
Not if I could help it. I'd prefer to lock my door. Hat tip to lock your door. We didn't used to have to lock our doors.
So that you wouldn't let them do that?
No. I mean, unless I had no choice. But right. I wouldn't do it.
Let them do it.
No.
You want to let them do it.
Right.
So why do you let the thought steal your now?
Saved by the bell. We have a break coming up. I hear music.
Not bells. Why you let thoughts steal your present?
I don't know. They're tricky. They pull you in. They're enticing.
I got to take a break. When I come back, your phone calls, manhood hours coming up next. 888-7753-773. The hate news, not the fake news. You can't run from evil within yourself or outside of self. You got to deal with it. And you need good in order to deal with evil. And God is good. You need to return to the Father. And you'll see within you, he will fight the battle for you. And he will fight it without, because he will show you how to deal with it. And you will have no fear. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your might, along with nothing else. Nothing else means yourself, your children, your wife, your things, your ego, your reputation, and all that. You can't care about any of that. The children of anger will use it to control you. But if you love God, he will renew your mind, and none of those things will be before him. And so when they go after you, oh, well, you may take my body, you may take my things, but you're not going to take my soul. And that's a true reality.
I have the major players for you guys in the Middle East. An update from the Skim. The ladies at the Skim. Get educated. And a college Palestine-Israel drama. There's a president of the World Jewish Congress who's threatening to pull his donations to the University of PA because they're pro-Palestine and anti-Israel, allegedly. And there is ongoing January 6th Patriot persecution in America. It's a shame. This is the end of hour 2 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It is Wednesday, October 18th, not August, 2023 AD. There is one line open. You can call in right now to get on hold, to get on air in Manhood Hour with JLP. But first, Hake news, not fake news. Again, Women's Forum tomorrow, ladies, third Thursday of the month, October 19th, 7 p.m. at Bond, rebuildingtheman.com/events. What's going on in the region? Asked the ladies at the skim. Sleepy Joe Biden, as you heard, is on a high-stakes visit to Israel to help try to keep a war from spreading in the Middle East. Don't get your hopes up with Sleepy Joe. He's not a man of peace. Key actors, also not people of peace necessarily. Hezbollah, a militant group and political force based in Lebanon, been labeled terrorists by multiple countries, including the United States, backed by Iran, according to the reports. Israeli officials believe Hezbollah is a major threat. Two were at war for a month in 2006. I don't remember, but I was busy. In recent days, Israeli forces have been clashing with Hezbollah fighters on the Lebanon-Israel border. Military exchange has been limited so far, but there have been casualties, including one journalist. Iran is another major player. Financially and militarily supports a number of militant groups in the region, reportedly, including Hamas. Launched the deadliest terror attack on Israel on October 7th, deadliest in 50 years anyway, as well as Hezbollah. Iran supports both those, supposedly. Denying involvement in the attack, Iran warned Israel-Hamas war could soon widen. Earlier this week, Iran's foreign minister said that regional militias, like Hezbollah, are ready to take preemptive strikes action should the conflict in Gaza escalate. Saudi Arabia, another major player, and Israel were about to hold historic negotiations, signaled they'd recognize Israel, paving the way for other Arab nation states to do the same. Hamas's attack and the fallout complicated that, of course. Countries paused all talks until further notice. They would not resume until concessions for Palestinians are prioritized. Like others in the region, Saudi Arabian Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has called for a de-escalation amid concerns that the war could spread beyond Israel and Gaza. Sounds reasonable, right? Maybe. Egypt shares a border with Gaza, another major player, with the Rafah crossing. The country backs Israel's blockade of the Gaza Strip, but Israel supported humanitarian aid, but they said Israel was refusing to cooperate with aid deliveries and evacuations. Israeli airstrikes keep pounding southern Gaza. Many Palestinians and hundreds of tons of supplies are stuck in the Rafah crossing. Egypt has been remaining wary of allowing Palestinian so-called refugees, I guess they are refugees, into their country. Jordan shares a border with Israel in the West Bank, the last major player for now. Worked to provide humanitarian aid to Gaza since the conflict began. Like Egypt, they refuse to take Palestinian refugees out of fears that the move could destabilize their own country. Jordan already has the largest number of Palestinian refugees of all the Palestinian outside of Palestinian territories. They've seen protests in support of Hamas and Gazans following the October 7th attack and the explosion of that hospital that I told you about last hour, and JLP mentioned it too. The hostage situation. Hamas released their first video of a hostage, a 21-year-old French-Israeli woman named Mia Shem, S-C-H-E-M. Pretty dirty blonde gal with a nose ring and big lips. That part I don't like. She's young. Abducted from that music festival. Somebody was tending to her wound, and she's like, oh, I want to return to my family. Her mother has a picture of her. CNN has it. And the Gaza-Egypt border crossing remains closed. So what a mess. I'll have to tell you about the college Palestine-Israel drama on the Hake Report. Check that out. And, of course, Joel Friday TV. Oh, no. American Anchor Baby at noon. I'm James Hake.
stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the third hour of the show today. You can get involved by calling 888-7753-773, 888-77-JESSE, Jesse, Jesse. My biblical question for this week. The biblical question, what is the boomerang in your life? What is the boomerang in your life? Amazing question. We have every way to watch and support the show listed on jesseleepeterson.com/show, jesseleepeterson.com/show. And you can podcast all the show, but you can also watch it, listen to it live while you're busy doing whatever you're doing or not doing by calling the listen line at 641-793-1500, 641-793-1500. And don't forget to follow us on rumble.com/Jesse Lee Peterson, cozy.tv/JLP, JLP Talk on Twitter, and Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. Like, follow, subscribe, ring the bell. There are no excuses now. What the? I do appreciate it. And to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to Bond JLP on Cash App, Bond JLP on Cash App, and buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk, buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk, and rebuildingtheman.com, rebuildingtheman.com. It is the third hour of the show. Today, it is Wednesday, and every third hour of the show on Wednesdays is Manhood Hour. What is a man? What is a man?
It's an adult human male.
Manhood. Hillary or President Trump?
I voted for Hillary Clinton.
Beta male. A man is a male who turned to man. Alpha male. Live right, be right, and lead the way.
We shall be as a city upon a hill. The eyes of all people are upon us. Kennedy was echoing a sermon given over 300 years earlier by John Winthrop. Winthrop was one of a band of courageous colonists who set sail from England to find a new life.
Will you nominate an African-American woman?
The answer is yes.
The governor has appointed LaFonza Butler, an advisor to Kamala Harris's presidential campaign.
They want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is. These are our national secrets. Looks like in the shitter to me.
Not the American way. These damn bills that come out here all the damn time. Come out here to the last second. I gotta try to figure out how to vote for my people. Let my people go!
Reagan and Kennedy alike used the biblical phrase to urge the American people to live in a manner worthy of being emulated.
Amazing. Nice. Now you see why my country is not coming back? They don't have Reagan and that Kennedy running anymore. 888-7753-773. Let me go to Roberta out of New Mexico. Roberta, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi, Jesse.
Hey, Roberta. How are you?
I'm amazing.
Amazing.
Yes. I talked to you a couple of weeks ago and about my adult son. And you gave me very sound advice that really has changed my life in a very short period of time. I did forgive my parents, and then I apologized to my youngest son, and then I went ahead and the older one's still not talking to me, but I did write just a simple text, and I listed things that I apologized for.
Right.
And I went ahead and sent it to him, but he didn't respond, but it's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. You did your part.
Yeah. And,
amazing.
Yeah, it's just great. And I don't know, I'm just enlightened, and I'm a Bible thumper.
Bible thumper!
Yes, sir. I know it's not Bible Thumping Thursday, but I was thumping and came across a scripture that I've misread my entire life. And I always put it as, this means husbands and wives. It doesn't have anything to do with me because I don't have a husband. So I've been like usurping authority over men my entire adult life.
Yeah, yeah.
I have that song, Maggie May. Do you remember that by Rod Stewart?
Oh, yes.
Okay, that was me.
I do remember that.
That was me before I was reformed, but I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
I thought it was being strong and all this stuff. But anyway, it was amazing when I read the scripture and I didn't see husband and wife. It actually says women and man. That would include me.
Yeah.
But we're not supposed to usurp authority over men, and I've been doing that to men my whole adult life, and that's what's wrong, why my kids are so upset with me, I'm sure. So I'm just learning how to treat them like men, and there is open communication with the younger son, so that's good.
How old is the youngest one?
37.
The youngest son is 37?
Yep.
And how did he respond to you apologize for being wrong?
Oh, he was like, what the is wrong with you, Mom? This just doesn't sound like the mom that I know.
Yeah.
But he was very accepting of it, and it's like when I talk to him now, I can even name off more things. Like, once you say you apologize for this and that and the other, oh my gosh, it's like it just started pouring in. Like I could have made a list of 100 things very easily.
Yeah, absolutely. And what did your mother say when you went to her?
Well, my parents are deceased, so I did not have to argue with them. It was more like I just did it.
Okay.
And I would if your parents are deceased, you should take that step. It is freeing, I mean, right then, and they're not going to argue with you.
Yeah.
So,
are you doing the silent prayer now every morning, every night?
I'm not going to lie to you and say I'm doing it every morning and every night, but I'm doing it.
And why not every morning, every night?
Because I'm not disciplined enough yet.
Oh. And how will you become disciplined if you don't do it?
I won't. I think it's probably just some of the rebel that's left over in my old spirit.
No, that's not what the devil is keeping you away from doing it.
Okay. All right.
You believe in the thoughts and the feelings about it.
I really am aware that I'm thinking thoughts, though, now. It's different. It's, you know, it's very freeing. I've also just made a decision to not take that authority over me, because you can do it in so many little ways. You know, and so just the men in my life, like my brother, I'm like, I must have been treating him like a son for all these years. And now it's more like the last couple of times I saw him, it's like, okay, I don't have any of that. I'm just as good as you or better, you know, all that kind of old attitude that doesn't matter.
Right.
Now, because I'm still all that. I just don't have to prove it.
Amazing.
Isn't that crazy?
I would really encourage you, now that you're waking up, your heart has changed. I would encourage you so that the ego would die completely, and it really will. And the ego is a layer and layer and layer, deep layers of all the ideas and plans that you created and live by all your life. And the light will show you those, and it goes deeper than even words can express, right? And if you do the silent prayer, just watch those layers and layers of plans and ideas and identifications and all that will disappear. And when that happens, and if you stay with it, it will happen, the real you will appear. And the real you is nothing like what you think you are at all. But
okay, I'm definitely going to take your advice on that because your other advice has been amazing. So.
Yeah, and just let go now. You don't need to condemn yourself. Don't judge. It's enough to see that you're wrong and you apologize. Be done with that and just do the prayer and watch. Because the brainwashing of our parents and the schools and the world around us and other people and the media and the government, it goes deeper than what we really, really know.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And I've been able to see, like, my two grandmothers, my mom's. It's actually my mom's grandma because her mom died when she was young, but I call her my grandma. And then my dad's mom as well. And, like, they appeared on the outside like the opposite. Like, Dad's mom drank a little bit, and she smoked, and she cursed, and, you know, she was divorced, and she was in your face kind of thing. And then my other grandma was, oh, my husband runs everything, but that was a lie.
Yeah.
And she went to church and did this. So I had like two conflicting grandmas. But when I look at them, they were both exactly the same.
Absolutely.
You know, the
Absolutely.
single grandma coddled my dad and hit my uncles and, you know, made them the way they were. And the other grandma acted like she was letting Grandpa do it, but she wasn't. She was running everything.
Amazing.
You know?
Well, it's amazing to be able to see. I once was blind, but now I see. And I'm telling you, Roberta, the illusion will disappear and reality will appear. And reality is paradise on earth. It's the kingdom of heaven on earth, inside of you, inside of each individual if they want it.
Yes. And I've been looking and clawing and screaming and cursing and trying to find this. Okay, all doing it the wrong way, of course.
Yeah.
But for all this time, and then it's like, you know, just calm down, just take someone else's advice instead of having all the answers on your own, and see what happens. And it's really been amazing. My younger son's listening to you now, and I'll send him things from your man hour or, you know, things that you've got little clips. I'll send him some of those things, and he'll say, you know, he loves it. He'll send back, you know, that he really liked it.
Nice.
And I've been sharing it with other. I don't have grandchildren here, but my friend has 13 grandchildren, and so they need another grandma.
Amazing.
But I've been sharing you with them, and they're like 14, 15. They're like Gen Zers.
Right.
And those girls, man, they're out of control, Dad. I mean, Jiminy Christmas. But I'm having them listen to some of your stuff, and I've just had the opportunity to do it, and it's working great. And I just really like your program, and, man, you're doing a good job, and thank you.
Thank you, and stay with it, And it's cool that you're sending them these things. If some of them don't want it, don't impose it. Just say, oh, okay, I just thought you check it out.
They don't have to open it.
Right.
You know?
So,
and should I send my other son that's not talking to me anything, or would that be trying to control?
Yeah, I would leave that alone now that you apologize, you told him where you're wrong, you were sorry about it. I would leave him alone now and let him work it out himself, because if you start sending him stuff, he's just going to think that you're still trying to control by imposing like that.
Okay. All right. And I am.
Yeah, absolutely. And so just leave him alone. You've done your part. He may have to stay in his hell for a while. And who knows, one day he may cry out to the truth for some light, and he'll be fine. But there's nothing you can do about that.
Yes. That's so true.
All right. Amazing, Robert. Stay with the prayer. Stay with it, and do it every morning, every night. And during the day, take a moment. If you get caught up, come back to the present. Your body, you'll be in the present. And you'll see everything will get better and clearer and better and better and better.
I've had people even comment on, like, I'm not doing anything different, but I guess I have a different. My face might not be tensed up the same way or something, you know.
Yeah.
There's just these changes, and my cousin notices it, and my sister. And
well, some people will notice it, and they'll love it because they'll love the light that they see. Some people notice it, and they'll hate it because they hate the light. But don't be concerned about that either. You just simply let life happen. Just let it happen, and whatever it is, it is.
Yes. And I got my sister turned on to you, too. She got 3 sons, and they hate her, too.
Amazing. What a mess.
It's a mess, but we're working on it. And I believe I'm on the road to recovery.
Well, stay with it. You haven't seen anything. I appreciate you, Roberta.
Thank you. Have a blessed day.
You too. Amazing call. Thank you. I want to show you, before I go back to the call, there's one line now, Roberta line there, 888-77-53773. I want to give you some quick examples of what happens as a result. These are just some of the things. There's so many others, right? And right now, because of the media, for the most part, is focusing on the war, you're starting to hear less and less about what's happening in the country. The country's still a mess. But they're sending Joe Biden over to Israel and other places so you'll forget what's happening in your country. Election time is coming up. All kinds of tricks will be played. But they want you to forget the violence and the crimes and the carjacking and the snatch and grab and knocking out white people. And all. They want you to forget about that for a minute. And now their whole focus is on, for the most part, exception to the rule, is on the war. And little or nothing is happening, is being reported about my country. It's still bad in the country. Gas prices, the economy. They're saying, don't punish them. They'll do better. They just hit you in the head with a hammer. They were playing. Don't punish them. They'll do better. And this is coming from the women especially. Don't hurt him. He'll do better next time. Yahoo is reporting Seattle police have released a video of a man they suspect randomly attacked 2 people with a hammer. Watch this from Fox.
Police have released new video of the suspect in a brutal attack outside a light rail station in South Seattle last week. 2 people were beaten with a hammer in the head.
And you can see a man dressed in a dark blue jacket, black sandals, and a black dress holding up a hammer in his right hand as he walks up and down the station. Surveillance cameras capture him walking into one of those trains. He appears to be talking while at the same time waving the hammer around, apparently pointing it towards commuters. Seattle police say minutes later they were called out just across the street where the man hit a woman in her 60s and another man in the head with a hammer. Very brutal and violent attack. Well, according to writers, the man threatened many of them before getting off and unleashing on them.
It does impact how I look at my neighborhood. I might keep an eye out a little bit more.
Amazing. You black. That reminded me, yesterday I was driving down the road. I saw a black guy walking down the road in a long black silk skirt or dress with a white blouse on, and then he had those black braids things, and he had a mustache. I was like, what? No. He had a black shoulder bag on his hand. He was just walking down waving, just a proud. I'm like, what the? But this is still happening in my country, folks. And not once did the reporter say he was black, right? If he had been white, what do you think they would have said? It would have been a different story. He hit, according to a report, attacked these people with a hammer, dressed in drag. His mama spirit. That's his mama spirit. That's the mama spirit. One example of it. And mama like, he didn't mean it. Don't hurt him. Don't put him in jail. Don't tell your daddy. Daddy, don't yell at him. Leave him alone. Here's an example of that. The Blaze is reporting a 63-year-old woman who survived the beating said that the attacker is a lost soul and that she felt sorry for the state the man was in. So he hit her in the head, she survived, and she feels sorry for the man. See how emotions will get you in hell? You have no right to feel sorry for anyone. This is what happens. Daddy punished the kids for being wrong, doing wrong. And Mama said, don't punish them too much. Don't make them feel the punishment. Don't hurt their feelings. And the kids grow up to be thugs. Because Mama is in the way. Daddy tell the kids, okay, it's time to go to bed, kids. And the kids like, all right, I'll go in a minute. Okay. Then y'all hear y'all daddy say, go to bed? And the kids get up and go to bed. Mama just got her glory. She just took the authority away from the father. ABC is reporting a 19-year-old has been charged with the death of an Oakland baker, Jan Angel, in February. Angel friends said Angel would not want her alleged killer to go to prison. She's speaking on behalf of Angel. Angel did, not speaking for herself. Maybe it's true or not. But these women, they are so emotional, they let the criminals go. Watch this from KTVU and ABC.
Police have arrested 19-year-old Ishmael Birch of San Francisco, and he's now charged with murder and robbery for the death of Jen Angel, the owner of Angel Cakes Bakery in Oakland. Police say she died after being knocked down and dragged by the suspect's car during a purse snatching back in February.
Burse was Angel's friend. She's one of several people calling on local authorities to pursue an alternative to traditional prosecution.
I know Jen believed that we need to address harm and create accountability that is really rooted in looking at the root causes of why harm happens.
Burse says Angel strongly disagreed with the current criminal justice system and would not want her alleged killer to go to prison.
Like locking somebody in a cage, is that really going to bring Jen back?
Amazing. See why you don't want women in charge? It's not in their nature to lead. Jan did. Oh, but be nice to the black guy. Don't make the black children angry. Don't make the black girl bleed. Men, God in Christ, Christ over man, man over woman. Men point the way. And they know that if this criminal is not punished for killing Jen, he's going to do it again. My mama like, no, how is that going to help? It will help the criminal. It may not help Jen, but it definitely help the criminal if you love them. Isn't that something? This is Manhood Hour. Men, it's time to return to the Father. And the Father will guide you in the light. And if you did this, you can have peace on earth. Because the women, all women are seeking the Father. But they can't find it because the men are weak. You can bring them out of their hell in the right way. And ladies, you're not going to get it from the men. You can return to the Father yourself and stop being so emotional. Forgive your mother, forgive your father, and through your earthly father, you return to God. Here's Brooklyn stabbing. The first stabbing was in Oakland. Here's a Brooklyn stabbing, CBS. The New York NYPD says Brian Dolan, or Dowling, D-O-W, Dowling, an 18-year-old Brooklyn man, has, and watch how they don't ever say black man. A 18-year-old Brooklyn man has been charged with the murder in the deadly stabbing of Ryan Carson. Watch this from CBS.
Surveillance footage shows the assailant approach Carson and his girlfriend at a bus stop here on Lafayette Avenue and Malcolm X Boulevard before stabbing Carson in the chest. Carson later died from the attack. As you mentioned, police now have a suspect in custody who is currently being questioned at the 81st Precinct. This is footage of the man police say they were looking for. He has not yet been identified. But we are blurring his face at the moment while charges are pending.
Amazing, huh? So they blurred out the black man's face. They didn't even say black, but the white guy, they show his whole face in all the media. That white guy was Daniel Penny. Some of you might remember him. He was trying to help on the train, too. Some guy acting weird, according to the story. Daniel Penny said, hey, danger ahead. He tried to help. But you were white. And they were all over it. Oh, but they blurred out the black guy's face. Don't make the black girl angry. And it's being reported, according to the Daily Mail and the Post-Millennial, friends of Ryan Carson says he feels sorry for the teenage criminal. He feels sorry for the teenage criminal who stabbed him to death. He would see that this was a person who was suffering from a lack of resources. So Ryan, even though you dead, if he were here, he was like, I feel sorry for him. They were suffering from a lack of resources. He had enough knives to kill you. This is what happened to the blacks in America. The white people years ago, when the blacks first started whining and begging and blaming, white people were like, oh, I feel sorry for the blacks. I understand slavery. I feel sorry for the blacks. And now the blacks are trying to run the whites out of their own country. They're trying to run them out their own country. Your enemy is your enemy, and your friend is your enemy. They're trying to run them out of their own country. White people feel bad for them. So they're saying that Ryan Carson's friends are saying, oh, I feel sorry for him. Ryan would feel sorry for him. Ryan dead, but no, he still would feel sorry for him. He had the lack of resources. That's why the black guy was suffering. That's what white people said about blacks. Years ago, the blacks started knocking them out, and they called it knockout gang. They wanted reparation. Affirmative action. They got affirmative action. And the blacks, though they worked harder and smarter than the whites, though they worked harder and smarter than the black got into school because they were black. When I come back, this tweet from Ryan Carson about Rush Limbaugh. Let me take a quick break. It's amazing break time already. 888-775-3773. When I come back, I'll finish that story, your calls, and your super chats. Back in a moment. I noticed after a while that when these guys overcome their anger, they have amazing ideas about starting a business. But because they've been told that if you don't get a loan from the bank, or if you don't have a 5-year plan, or if you don't do this, and it's just simply not true, it's the first step. With faith, then all things are possible. So, but the most important thing is to return to the Father. That yearning that you have, that emptiness, that void, is not for more stuff. It's not for more friends. It is a return to the Father, because there's no way you can return to God and be angry at your earthly father. So thank you all so much, right? People around the world donated to Bond at rebuildingtheman.com, or they call 800-411-2663, and we're still committed to pointing the right way for men and women to return to the Father. Okay, folks, welcome back. The Hake Report is coming up at 9 a.m. this morning from 9 to 11 a.m. The Hake Report.com, and at 12 noon, the American Anchor Baby. The American Anchor Baby at 12 noon today. All right, and you can donate to us by going to rebuildingtheman.com. A lot of work to do. We've done a lot and got a lot more to do. Rebuildingtheman.com, or call 800-411-BOND, 800-411-2663, and make your donation there as well. All right. The ladies' forum tomorrow night. The ladies' forum every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Come on down, ladies. We've been having hootenanny of meetings. Amazing. Let me just finish this, and then I'll get to your calls and super chat, all right? Talking about how these people feeling sorry after these folks killed them, according to the reports. Oh, no, he didn't have enough resources. White people, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all need to visit South Africa, whites, if you don't quite understand what can happen to you. If you still don't get it. So I mentioned this Ryan Carson boy that was killed, and his friend said that he wouldn't want this guy punished. He would see this person, well, what they say is that Ryan Carson would see this person was a person who was suffering from a lack of resources. How many more knives did he need to stab Ryan? Well, Ryan Carson, here's a tweet from Ryan Carson after the death of Rush Limbaugh in 2021. This is from X, a photo.
LMAO, hell yeah.
So he was laughing at the death of Rush Limbaugh.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that amazing? And then he stabbed. I told you, what you do to others, you're doing it to yourself. You just don't know it. A mama's love is not special. A mama's love is death. The father's love is life. It's life. And by the way, the treasure chest is now open on D-Live. I forgot. Let me show you a different reaction to this mess. The way to deal with it. This is from the Revolver. 7 months ago, a teacher in Florida was attacked by a 6'6", 270-pound student. He was black, too. It took a team of 4 adults to pry this madman off the poor teacher. Watch this from NBC.
Quite frankly, it was shocking.
Investigators say when a teacher's aide at Matanzas High School took a 17-year-old ESE student's video game away, he chased after her into the hallway and, according to the report, pushed the victim so hard it took her off her feet in the air 5 to 6 feet, knocking her unconscious. The 17-year-old, seen here with campus resource deputies, allegedly continued his assault as the teacher's aide lay helpless on the ground. Investigators say surveillance shows the student kicking her, then getting on top of her and punched her in the body and back of the head approximately 15 times. As first responders tended to the victim, the 17-year-old detained and being walked away, according to the report, he started to spit towards the victim and said when he comes back, he's going to kill her.
Wow, and he was black. See how they leave out the color of the person when it's black? If it was a white man, they would call it a white supremacy. A white supremacist did this. The revolver is reporting that, according to the student, his attack was sparked by a teacher telling him to stop gaming on his Nintendo. The teacher said that never happened. But even if the teacher told the idiot to stop doing it in school, you stop doing it. This is still happening in my country. Don't take your attention away from what's happening here and just put it on some war. They don't want you to remember this. It's time to vote soon. They may be already sending out mail-in votes thing, which is a bad idea, by the way. But over a game, he told you, according to the report, when I get out, I'm going to kill you. Do you think a white guy could have said that to a black teacher and not be called white supremacist, a racist attack, and all that mess? The teacher said it wasn't about the Nintendo. That never happened, according to this report. The revolver is reporting that the student was charged as an adult and is now starting a 30-year prison sentence. Nice. And the teacher is perfectly fine with that and not willing to help get this sentence reduced. God bless this teacher. Especially if it's true, that this guy said, if I get out, I'm going to kill you. And last but not least, it's still bad in Chicago. It could forever be bad in Chicago. It's controlled by blacks, and probably the majority of people there are black. I'm not sure. The Blaze is reporting, and I want you to watch this, how the police and nobody is stopping this. A Chicago street takeover took a turn over the weekend when individuals were caught on video appearing to trap a white Tesla. Watch this from X. They black. Wow. That wasn't in South Africa. That was in the United States of Chicago. You still want to teach anger? You still want to encourage anger? Jesus was angry. You still want to encourage that? You still believe Jesus had anger? That was black excellence at work. Black excellence. You still want the blacks running your country? Men, the women and children need you. Stop fighting amongst one another, each other. Return to your natural state and bring the world back to the Father. You are needed. You are needed. Forgive, and you shall be free. My country's gone. And black people, I would encourage you to pull away from your leaders, pull away from your mama, pull away from your anger, and be free. Follow what's right, not some other person, place, or thing. Follow the truth, follow the Father. The kingdom of heaven is within. And can no one do it for you? And beating up white people, beating cars, snatch and grab, blaming others ain't going to do it. It's not the answer. Fighting with the white people, not the answer. It's only making you worse. Let me go quickly to a first-time call out of Oregon. Evan, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, how's it going, Jesse?
All is well.
All is well. Good, man. Well, I was calling today in regards to where I'm at in Portland, Oregon. Been one hell of a ride. I'm 28 years old. I just bought my first house here, and I completely regret it.
And why do you regret it?
Because it's in Portland.
Oh.
I've lived here my whole life. I moved out when I was 16 years old. I got married back in 2019, and we're ready to move. And so I want some advice on how to get the heck out of here.
Well, when you say how to get out, what do you mean?
Well, my wife is from New York, not the city, but upstate, where it's decent up there. We're planning on moving up there, but we're starting to lose our faith in God, and it's just I think it's due to the environment of how sick the world is becoming and the lack of effort that people are putting into God in general. That it's our surrounding, and that's one of the major reasons why we're moving is because of that.
And why are you losing your faith in God? You personally.
That's a good question. I think to sum it up is what we're seeing around us. It's just hard to believe something so evil that God could create is just diluting our minds, and we're letting evil sit in our minds, and we really know we shouldn't be. I work a lot, so my wife doesn't have to. I think a lot of it has to do with just fatigueness in general, just mind, state, and body.
And what does God have to do with any of that?
I don't blame God at all. I blame myself as a leader of my household for letting it to get so far in delusion. Of course, I would never blame God.
But why are you losing faith then if you don't blame God?
Yeah, and that's a question I ask myself daily. I don't know. I've gone to therapy in my church, and I've been asking that question myself for several years. I think ever since we started getting on the news for how bad it's been here.
Yeah.
You walk outside. You walk outside and you see a world that wasn't there 5 years ago.
Right.
It's just flipped.
That's
you see us on the news with Antifa. You see us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's everywhere in every major cities, but when you're hitting national news, every single year, every single election cycle is just, it's getting too much, man. It's just really getting to me.
Yeah. Why upstate New York instead of somewhere else?
I moved out when I was 16 years old. I don't have much family here. Like I said, my wife is from New York, where it's completely different. She moved up here when she was 16, and she's in her almost mid-20s now. And we just want to be surrounded by family. And
you have children?
No, we won't have children until we move up there. I'm almost in my 30s, and she's in her mid-20s. We're hoping to move there within the next year or two, and then have children.
Oh, okay. Did you sell your house already?
No. We're in the process. Probably around March, we're selling our house.
Oh, I got you. Oh, one other thing. What did the preacher of your church tell you when you told him you were losing faith in God?
I've been to a couple, and they say the same thing. They in a way almost brainwash me into thinking that it's a good thing. They try to practice, love and acceptance, and around Portland, that's an entirely different meaning. When you look at a transvestite on the street, they say, "Oh, love that person. They're okay. They're normal. Go with it." And
the church that you attend, the preacher told you the same thing?
I've been to several, and they all said the same thing. Yes.
Wow. So here, let me tell you this because of time. Number one, you cannot lose faith. If you ever believed in God, it's impossible to not believe in God. And you would see, if you truly knew the Father, you would see that what's happening in the world has nothing to do with you or the Father, right? And you will be fine. You will see that it's happening because the human heart is evil, and people are possessed with the spirit of evil in their mind, psychologically, and emotionally. And that's what's driving them to do what they're doing. And it has nothing to do with God. And so you can't believe in God and then stop believing in God. And the other thing is, I would recommend that, and I'm not telling you not to move. If you see that in the physical sense that it's best to move, you're probably right about that, move. But I would recommend that you start working on yourself so that you can overcome fear and darkness and emotions and all that. And you will see that God is with you and that your world inside of you, which is inside of you, the kingdom of heaven, is inside of you, the real you, you're doing fine. It's just the physical you need to get out of the mess, you move out. But you need to start working on you so you can stop believing thoughts. All thoughts are all lies all the time about anything. Have you heard me say, go and forgive your mother?
Yes.
Have you done that?
I have not. I've never met her. She actually passed away when I was very young due to drug overdose.
Well, though she's dead, you forgive her anyway? Realize she couldn't help herself? Just like you're feeling these things about what's happening in Portland around you, and you're losing faith in God. That same spirit that caused your mother to do drugs and stuff like that, that's the same spirit that's making you feel the way you're feeling. You're possessed with evil. How about your father?
Yes, I actually just recently met him for the first time. I was adopted at 2 weeks old, by the way, but yeah, I met him and I forgave him.
Nice. What was it like to finally see him for the first time?
He was a lot like my mom. He was very behind in life. It was very sad, but it was interesting at the same time to look at somebody that looks like me. So
yeah.
I guess it was a happy sorrow moment.
Nice. So here's what I recommend at this point then. I want you to start doing the silent prayer. Have you started that?
I have not.
You know about it?
I have heard you mention it a couple times. I'm a off and on listener.
Go to rebuildingtheman.com/prayer, rebuildingtheman.com/prayer, and silentprayer.video, silentprayer.video. I want you to start doing that every morning, every night, so that the light of God will bring you out of the darkness of thoughts, of the imagination. And if you stay with it, except for practical thoughts, you're going to live life without thoughts at all. And whatever is happening in the world outside of you, it won't affect you at all because there will be no thinking about it or feeling about it at all. All those things are evil. Thoughts and feelings are evil. And God will cause you to die from that. That's the ego death. He will take all that away, and you will see clearly how to deal with everything, everyone, and everything around you.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. That's the advice that I needed to hear.
Yeah, do the silent prayer. And then, you know, when it's time to sell your house, sell your house. When it's time to move, move. Do the practical things that you want to do. But I do want to tell you that when the preacher told you, oh, love them and love that, and they can't help it. They literally can't help it. They are possessed with the spirit of their mothers as well, which is evil. And it's not the mother's spirit, but the evil spirit in the mother. And they can't help it. And to love them means don't resent them. Don't be angry about it. It doesn't mean that you're going to accept it as a norm, but don't hate them for it. They know not what they do. They cannot see. They'll feel with anger too, and they're possessed and don't know it. It doesn't mean accept it as a right, but just don't resent it because they know not what they do.
Right. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. And God is with you, Evan. Just do the silent prayer so the devil won't convince you that God is not with you. He's truly with you, and everything that you are looking for is already inside of you. It's already there, and you want to start living from within instead of from without.
Exactly.
And I don't blame you at all that you want to move out of it. If I was in that situation, I had a wife and all that and wanted kids, I would sell my house and be gone too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something we didn't even need much talk about is just when are we doing this?
Right on. But God is with you, man. So have no fear. That's why you got to overcome thought so you can have no fear, and you will see how to do everything in the right way at the right time.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
All right. Let me know how it goes, all right?
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right, buddy. Amazing. Super chats.
Someone bought you 3 coffees. In Luke chapter 10, Jesus warns the 72 people, quote, "Do not rejoice that the spirits submit to you, but rejoice that your names are written in heaven." This is something that is good to know. I love when I see good defeat evil. Sometimes I love it too much. I need to remember never to take the credit. Hallelujah.
Yeah, because there's nothing we can do. We can't fight spirits. Really. You need to light the spirit of the Father, the divine spirit. Thank you.
Over also on Buy Me a Coffee, someone said, if I don't have love and my wife doesn't have love, how do we love each other?
Someone contacted me yesterday and they said, how can I find my purpose in life? I can't find my purpose. I said to them, don't look for it. It'll find you. Likewise, you can't love your wife, and your wife cannot love you because you don't have love. But when you love what's right, return to the Father, then His love will consume you, and with that love, you will love one another. You wouldn't need anything from each other. You will love one another. It'll be amazing. Thank you.
Chill and Lean bought a coffee. Jesse, if a man makes twins first, one boy and one girl, is he alpha or beta?
As long as the boy first. Make sure the boy is pulled out first.
Push her back in if it's a girl. Okay.
Right. If the girl come out first, no. Push her head back up in there and bring the boy out first and then the girl.
I disavow. Someone bought you a coffee. Jesse, do you think since you have overcome your emotions that you can easily pass a lie detector test?
So what now?
Do you think you can pass a lie detector test since you've overcome your emotions easily?
What?
Lie detector test.
I don't know. I don't know. But thank you.
Someone bought a coffee. Hi, Jesse. I'm trying to fix my situation. I married a woman with 2 kids, my fallen state. She's making life hell and won't leave unless I divorce her, find a new affordable place for her to live, and pay her money contributing to the bills for the last few years. What the? Silent prayer showing me she is lazy. Wants me to continue doing everything for her. Please give me some guidance in moving forward.
You know, I will have to talk to you because I will have follow-up questions. And that's not enough information for me to say exactly what you should do. But I do recommend you stay with the silent prayer. Don't become angry, and you will see what to do. You really will. You got to stay away from anger. Stay away from thoughts and emotions. Thank you.
Games for Rec with a diamond, no message. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kid Combo 1.0 with a diamond. Joe gives Iran $9 billion to help Palestine start war. Shh. Trap monkey.
Amazing.
Emojis.
Amazing. Thank you. I got it in there.
All right.
The Hate report. Thank you all.
We'll read them tomorrow.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll finish up with those tomorrow. The Hate report is coming up now. And then the Anchor Baby. Get on that straight and narrow, folks, alone. You can't take anyone with you. Do not be afraid to stand alone inwardly. All right, and do the silent prayer. Forgive your mother and your father. Have a good one. Thank you for an amazing show today. I'll be back tomorrow. Bible Thumper Thursday. Take care.
But you beg and blame and lie and hate and never want to stand for the truth. So what you planning to do? You understand and lose. You better go talk to your mama. Better stop at the drama. Better drop all the trauma. Boy, you better stand up and up. Put your hand up and hut. Cause if we don't, then we lose. And then we gotta hear the fake news. Whoa.
You must know that so you get something went wrong, but face the truth about yourself and just seek first God's kingdom, cause so you get something went wrong, but face the truth about yourself and just seek first God's kingdom, cause I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way.
So, here's what I recommend. I invite you to download my silent prayer, and I want you to start doing it. You just download it, get the points of how to do it, and then after a while, you just do it on your own. It's going to point you in the right direction that your life will be returned to you from God. He will give you your life back because anyone and all people who has anger, they're not themselves. You are the person that you are angry at. That's why it's so important to get to know yourself so that you can see who you're angry at. And if you're doing the hooping and hollering prayers and things like that, some people get up, oh, praise the Lord, hoop and holler, bless my mama, bless my daddy. Continue to do it. Do both. You will see if you want to stay with the hooping and hollering or do you want to be still and know God. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church. Other than sex, I wonder why would a man even need a woman today? Women don't know how to cook. They don't know how to clean. They're in competition with men. They don't want to be wives and mothers. Some want to get married, but they don't want to live in that proper position of life. Because the only purpose of marriage is to have a family. And that's been known forever. And so if you don't want to have children, there is no need to get married. And so I was wondering, why would a man even get married today? I never thought I'd see the day when women would come out of her natural role and be like a man. Even though she hate that role. When she's with a man that's weak, she hate him. But if he try to be strong, she'll stop it. I never imagined that. You're seeing good destroyed and abnormal is presented as normal.
Thank you, JLP, for an excellent J.C. Lee Peterson show. We're going to end the video feed for JLP and start one up for Hake. Hang tight. Fun service. Fun show. Great show yesterday. Can you switch the thing to the multi-screen when you get a chance there? Hassan. Our trusty sidekick. Complicated business, folks. Complicated business. Rebuildingtheman.com/events for the women's forums and men's forums things. We've had different things happening over the years. Town halls, men's conferences. But the monthly men's forums and women's forums are pretty consistent. Men's forums first Thursday. Women's forums third Thursday of the month. 7 p.m. at Bond in Los Angeles. Make sure whenever you go that you are safe out there. Watch your backs. Be aware of your surroundings. Don't get lost in your head or in your cell phone or distracted. Be aware when you're driving because, the world is dangerous. Don't be scared, but be wary. Be aware. Nice. Do some push-ups and you'll be more punctual, Hake. I know. Facts. I did 10 push-ups yesterday. I'm proud of myself. I did them slow, too. Anyway, nobody cares about that. Nobody wants to hear about that. Or some people might. Complicated business. Complicated business. What else is going on in the world? Church, yes, church on Sunday was excellent. It's always excellent. Are you thinking about the biblical question? Some people don't think about it. Some of us are like, I can't. I give up. This is a shallow question. And then the discussion goes deep, and all of a sudden everything's deep. What? As JLP pointed out, and Jesus himself said, take no thought for your life. I'm streaming on Jesse's channel right now. Oh, Lord, have mercy on me. I'm streaming on JLP. What in the world? No. Good thing I didn't say anything untoward. No, he ended JLP's stream, but he started a new stream on JLP. Oh, no. I don't know. Something is happening. Allegedly, I'm on it. Let's see. YouTube.com/JLPtalk/live. Hello, everybody. I'm James Hake. Yes, I'm live on. Okay, thanks. 500.